other investors committed with their investments. Government departments are taking forward various works in the SIR. The work of the central spine is going on in full swing. An entirely new expressway is being put up, in addition to widening of the existing road. Plans for the provision of water and power are fast taking shape. The SIR will be serviced by a new world-class international airport. Necessary permissions for the airport are in place, and a special purpose vehicle has been formed to take it forward. Land has already been earmarked for the airport. The SIR and the airport will also have a metro rail linkage from Ahmedabad. Modern seaports are already operational in the vicinity of the SIR. A few more seaports are being planned very close to the SIR. The Dholera SIR will have a high level of productivity. It'll be a place for creativity and intellectual pursuits. A place with
its cities, the master plans have been less implemented and more violated, and thereby we have the urban mess that we do. And therefore it would be very useful if the DMIC initiative can also become the prime mover for a new way of making sure that the master plans are enforced.
Following the master plan is just step one. The DMIC still has to overcome the biggest hurdle of land acquisition before it becomes a reality. Land acquisition has often proved to be a major stumbling block. And estimates suggest that projects worth 6,65,000 crores have been stalled due to acquisition problems in the last decade. So how does the DMIC plan to overcome this problem?
We are very hopeful because our project has been structured in a manner where we give equity to the landowners, where we look at not the gross requirement of land but the net requirement of land, so that we are able to create the trunk infrastructure, and the other transaction of land which is owned by the private parties can be done directly by the farmers. But the fact is that areas which have been identified, there's a substantial area of government land available, there's a lot of wasteland available where there's adequate availability of water supply.
But even then, a lot of land still needs to be acquired for the project. And the string of events from Singur to Jaitapur to Noida has exposed the shortcomings of the society. Although the new land acquisition policy is still in the works, by the looks of it, it seems that the government wants to pass on the mantle to the private sector. So is this a step in the right direction?
No, I don't think it can work, because the private guy does not have the power necessarily to enforce the land buyout. The government can, right? The amount of land that you need, if you're going to build a 100 kilometers road, the amount of land that you need on both sides is tremendous. And you can very easily get into a situation where some people decide not to sell. Some people gang up. What will you do? So I don't think land acquisition as an obligation can ever be handled by the private parties on their own.
And then there is the problem of getting the financial structure right. The DMIC project envisages a substantial investment from the private sector. But currently there are no instruments to raise long-term finance, and this can prove to be critical in a project as big as the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor.
It's a clear problem in the making. The amount of money that the government wants in PPP, the 12th five-year plan says that we need $1 trillion of work, 50% on PPP. Right now that converts into mind-boggling number of 500 billion. Obviously you do not have that sort of financing.
A large amount of funding today is from the commercial banking system, and the commercial banking system has what is popularly known as an asset liability mismatch. To counter that, the various stakeholders, whether it's the government, whether it's the private sector, whether it's the financial markets, have all asked for long-term debt funds. As you know, the government is in the final stages of announcing almost a 50,000 crore India debt fund, and the announcements have already been made. So that's the first major step to creating 10 to 20 year money for infrastructure projects.
The Dholera SIR is going to be developed in an area of more than 360 square kilometers. It will be developed as a global hub of economic activity, supported by world-class infrastructure, premium civic amenities and centers of excellence. It will cater to both international and domestic markets. The SIR will have multiple business, financial, recreational and residential districts. It will provide the next generation of housing with cultural, recreational and amusement spaces. The centerpiece of the SIR is the CBD, the Central Business District. This building will be a masterpiece of design and art, an iconic structure that will stand out as an imprint of Gujarat's ingenuity and enterprising spirit. A true monument dedicated to New Gujarat, the Golden Gujarat. The Dholera SIR will have a low carbon footprint.